I recently received a rather intriguing invitation to come down and visit one of the work sites for High Speed 2. Now, you know this channel normally deals with historical stuff, but this was an opportunity not to be missed. So naturally, I seized it. So it was that I ended up in the wilds of Buckinghamshire, on the site of one of the largest viaducts in Britain. So a little background. Britain's mainline railway network was mostly laid down in the 19th century, and that's always held us back on railway development. New trains have had to be built to meet the conditions required for engines like this. Fast trains often have to share tracks with local trains and goods trains. In the 1960s, Japan pioneered a new kind of line, the Shinkansen. These were new lines designed purely for high-speed passenger trains. Other countries followed Japan's lead. The opening of the Channel Tunnel rather showed Britain up. Trains capable of zipping along France's TGV network crawled through the south of England. The solution was High Speed 1, completed in 2007, linking London with the south coast and, incidentally, revitalising St Pancras Station. Naturally, thoughts turned to a sequel, High Speed 2, a new main line linking London with Birmingham, Manchester and Leeds. This would not only reduce journey times between Britain's largest cities, but it would also free up capacity on the existing West Coast main line, thus improving connections for other stations. It's fair to say that it's a project that's not without controversy, but I'm not talking about that today. I mean, it's a lovely day, why ruin things with politics? So let's see how a modern railway is built. This is, or rather it will be, the Colne Valley Viaduct. This will be the second longest viaduct in Britain, after the old London and Greenwich Railway. It will be over 2 miles, or 3.4 kilometres in length, with spans of up to 80 metres each. While it's very long, it's actually not very tall, 10 metres above ground level, or thereabouts. Apparently the architects were inspired by the path of a stone skipping across water, so it's the same shape as a normal viaduct. This is part of Phase 1 from Birmingham to London. It's not the first railway between London and Birmingham, or the second, or even the third. Previous lines were built during the 19th century, when most of the work was done by navvies with pick and shovel and maybe explosives. At best you might have some steam shovels, but only in the later years. It was dangerous work, carried out with little concern for the environment, at a time when the desire not to get mutilated in the workplace was viewed as woke snowflake nonsense. The concerns of people living nearby were only considered worthy of attention if those people were rich and, preferably, aristocratic. Now, things are different. Not only do engineers have to consider the railway itself, but the landscape around it. Therefore, the viaduct has been designed to interfere as little as possible with the surrounding countryside, which is an area of great natural beauty. It has to pass over lakes, the River Colne and the Grand Union Canal, an area with a lot of natural diversity that is also popular with local residents for walking. Pollution must of course be avoided and noise must be minimised. This also applies to the construction process, and I was struck by how quiet the works were. The nearby wildlife seemed entirely unconcerned with the enormous viaduct being built just a few yards off. The area alongside the line will form what they're calling a green corridor, essentially a mini green belt that will offset such environmental effects as the line will have by creating new habitats for plant and animal life. Actually, this concept in some ways isn't new. Land alongside railways has often formed accidental nature reserves. What's new here is that they're doing it deliberately. So how do you build a viaduct these days? Well, the modern engineer has resources at their disposal that the Victorian navvy could only dream of. Most notably, this thing here. This is a launching girder, which is a sort of horizontal crane that can lift each concrete section into place, then haul itself on. It's 160 metres long, weighs 700 tons, and is called Dominique. Dominique is the only machine of its kind in the UK, having previously been used on the East Sing Viaduct in Hong Kong, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. I kind of want one. The concrete sections themselves, weighing up to 140 tons, are actually made in a factory on site. This minimises the amount of haulage needed and keeps local roads free. Each section is custom made to deal with the variations in the landscape, and of course, being manufactured on site, any problems that arise can be addressed then and there. To minimise this from the start, they use a process known as match casting. When each segment is completed, the next one is begun right next to it. So they definitely match, you see. There will be 1,000 segments in total. This is a very big project. Once all of this is complete, the construction site, factory and all, will be removed and the area will be landscaped and allowed to be reclaimed by plant life. The process has already begun, in fact. Here you can see where spoil from the nearby Chiltern Tunnel is being piled up. All in all, it's a fascinating project, and it highlights how far things have come in the last 200 years. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I'd like to thank my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon, as well as here on YouTube, for your support. You are the launching girder to my concrete bridge supports. I would also like to give a big thank you to the people from HS2 who organised this and were willing to let me look at their stuff. They also provided the animation, the CGI renders, and the drone footage that you're looking at now. So, a similarly sizable thank you for that. And as ever, I will see you all again very soon. Cheerio.